Well, well, well. The birds are chirping. The ice and the snow has melted. It's been melted for a little bit. It's actually storming out right now, raining out right now. Got the kayak up on the wall, and it's ready to go. It's time for some open water fishing. I decided I wanted to start the season off with a little bit of a tackle talk. I just wanted to do some more product knowledge and just more, teaching videos. Today's video, I'm gonna give you 2 techniques that I believe can catch anybody a bass. So before I get into the specific techniques that I believe will catch you bass, I want to get you set up with the right equipment. So the rod that you're going to want to get is I recommend a medium heavy rod. Now if you're new to fishing or don't have a rod yet, a medium rod you could get away with. A medium heavy rod is if you want to be more on the bass fishing side of things. A medium rod will kind of leave things open, so that way if it's something you want to use for bass, maybe walleye or panfish as well, but the medium heavy is going to be specifically for bass fishing. The rod, medium heavy, that's what we're going to go with here because that's the one I recommend for bass fishing. You're going to go medium heavy, you're going to be 6'6" to 7 foot. The line that you're going to want is going to be a braided line. Suffix 832, that's the stuff I like. I would go with a 20 to 30 pound braid. And then you're going to want to get yourself leader material. For this, I would go with a fluorocarbon. If you're going with a 20 to 30 pound line, you're always going to want to size your leader down about 5 pounds. 5 to 10 pounds is what you'd want to downsize it. So if you're going with a 30 pound braid, you're going to want to go with a 20 pound leader. And if you're going with a 20 pound braid, you can go down to like a 15 pound leader. Again, let's recap what you're going to need. 6'6" to 7 foot medium heavy rod, 30 pound braided line, and 20 pound fluorocarbon leader material. That's my recommendation. If you're interested, or if you want to know more about that whole combination or any of this stuff that I'm kind of talking about, leave a comment down below and I can do a separate video about that. So the 2 techniques, chatterbait and wacky rig Senko. Actually, I think I'm gonna go upstairs and do this from my den space because I want to go sit down and be a little bit comfortable. I got better lighting and I think I can get some better visuals on what I'm talking about here. So let's go upstairs. All right. Welcome back inside.
Indoors, indoors, indoors. Take it away, Penny.
That Penny has the most beautiful voice.
So, the 2 techniques that will catch you bass this spring and all summer long and into the fall are the chatterbait and the Senko. More specifically, the wacky rigged Senko. Let me get into technique number 1, the chatterbait. Chatterbait is the OG in bladed jigs. I'm old enough to remember when chatterbait was an as seen on TV product. So it's been around and it's been effective. It is made up of a couple of components. You have the body to it, you've got the head on it, you've got the skirt and the added trailer. And what makes everything go is this little blade right here. You tie your line to this here, you cast this thing out, and when this thing hits the water, this head vibrates, shakes back and forth. It goes against the water doesn't like that, and then the blade vibrates. It sends this little tickle down the fish's lateral line, and they say, well, what is that thing? Let me go put it in my mouth. And that's how the chatterbait works. I keep saying chatterbait because I'm always going to reference the Z-Man chatterbait. I think I said earlier chatterbait is the brand, Z-Man is the brand, chatterbait is the product, Z-Man makes the chatterbait. There are a handful of different chatterbaits or bladed jigs out there. Well, there's the original chatterbait, that is about $5, and then they go all the way up to like the jackhammer, which you're looking at $15 up to $20 if they're sold out and people are fiending for it. If you're just getting into it, get yourself one of the original chatterbaits and you will be set. Chatterbaits don't typically come with a trailer. They used to back in my day, but now when you purchase a chatterbait, they come and they look like this, where you have a full skirt, a blade, and nothing else to show for it. You're going to want a trailer for it. If you go out there and throw the chatterbait as it is out of the package, you might catch a fish. You probably would catch a fish, but your chances are increased when you add a trailer to it. It completes the lure. It's going to give it a full body profile. It's going to make it look like a full body lure to the fish. So, trailers, how do you pick one out? There are a bunch of different options. Z-Man actually makes a split tail grub is what it's called, and this is actually the grub that used to be in package when they sold the chatterbait, but they can't make money if they sell it to you with it already, so you might as well, they're gonna make you buy it separately. So Z-Man has some sort of trailer like this. They also make like a fish body like this, and there's a bunch of different styles. The Yodo worm, that's what I have on some of the ones that I've showed you. Crush City by Rapala, that's kind of newer to market over the last few years. Anything that kind of gives you this profile will do. Anything that kind of gives you that fish profile. I've seen people even put an actual like paddle tail. I've done it before. It'll kick a little bit more. It'll give a little bit more action. Absolutely no problem with that. You want it to be some sort of minnow profile. Another part of it, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to trim up the skirt a little bit. You're going to want to take it down, give it a little haircut, like right about there. Let me show you how to rig a tail. It's kind of a weird sounding thing, rig a tail. So I'm gonna put the split tail grub on this one. These things are stretchy. Got your little grub, you picked your trailer out, eye that sucker up so you can kind of see how deep it's gonna go. Let me see if I can do this right. Try not to be in the way here. Still learning, Not learning how to do this, but learning how to do this on camera, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna take that thing, you're going to slide that thing down, you're gonna pop it out right about where you thought you saw it, and you're gonna go like that. And with these, you're gonna wanna really pinch and pull, really get that thing over the hook keeper. It is intended to hold your lure on, so that way when you're catching fish, you're not pulling it off. So there you go. You have a rigged chatterbait, and there's a chance you'll see me throw this thing here in just a few weeks. Which color do you want to throw? Kind of the rule of thumb that I was kind of learned over the years, dark water, like super dark dingy water, you're going to want to throw darker lures. And then you want to throw natural color ones. This is like a green pumpkin. This is kind of just like more of what an actual like forage fish looks like. You want to throw natural color lures in clear water. However, this is kind of the caveat because something I've learned over my years, throw whatever you believe in. Whatever you have absolute confidence in. I've gone out crystal clear water and thrown black and blue, and I've caught fish. I'll throw up a picture of one I caught last summer. It was crystal clear on this specific lure, and I caught a bass. As far as the weight goes, if you're fishing on shore, near shore, only shore, 3/8 of an ounce. Otherwise, if you have access to get out on the water, out off the shore, or even if you're fishing the bank from a boat, go with a 1/2 ounce. You want to be in the strike zone. It's pretty easy to fish lures out of the strike zone. First technique is the chatterbait. Get yourself some. Okay, now that we've discussed the chatterbait, let's move to strategy number 2, technique number 2. This one is considered a little bit more of a finesse technique. So there's a couple, when we're talking about bass fishing, there's finesse and then there's power. So you're finesse fishing, you're power fishing. Power fishing is active, you're getting after it, you're trying to get the fish to react. Finesse, you're a little bit more detailed, you're a little bit more particular. There's actually a hybrid in there too called power finesse fishing, which this technique that I'm telling you about, it's kind of a power finesse. You can fish it fast, but you don't want to fish it too fast. You want to let the bait do its work. What you need for wacky rigging a Senko, you're gonna need, first thing, you're gonna need the worm. You're gonna need the Senko. This brand right here, you can go to Walmart, you could go to Scheels, you could go to your local, whatever, support local, and they are probably going to have these. These are the Yum Dingers. Yum Dinger. It is the brand is Yum, the dinger is the worm. Here is your dinger. You are looking at just a straight worm. This one here is going to be a 5-inch. They come in different sizes. You'll see them from, I think, 3 inches all the way up to like 6 or 7 inches. I think 5 inches is kind of the sweet spot for what we're doing here. And like I said, there's different brands that make these. Yum is going to be the most affordable. They're a couple bucks for a pack of them. I like these. You'll see these too. It's a little bit different. This one right here, Lake Fork makes this one, but this is a ring fry is what they call this. This just kind of looks, I mean, you can see it's got the rings. This smells like garlic. It smells terrible right now. Take a big sniff off of your garlic in the fridge and that's what this smells like. I do want to state that you want to make sure you get a worm that doesn't float. And Z-Man makes worms that look like this, but they float. You want a worm that sinks in this case, because again, back to the strike zone, you want the worm in the strike zone. So the next piece to completing the wacky rigged Senko, we've got the Senko, you know what the Senko is now. Now we have to rig it. So you're going to need to get yourself some hooks. I think the most versatile hooks for this are going to be the VMC Nico hooks. I'll throw up a little picture here of what the package looks like. And this is what the hook looks like out of package, right? This is a little bit of a hook keeper or a bait keeper. These hooks right here are going to do 3 different techniques for you. If you're going to be getting into bass fishing, the versatility in these hooks is why I like them. You can fish 3 different techniques. Right now we're talking about wacky worms. Later this summer will be Nico rigging and then also drop shotting. So if you have interest in continuing to bass fish and try these different techniques, get one of these hooks. Something to note while bass fishing, getting weeds on your hook isn't always a bad thing. That means you're fishing in the right spots. If you're fishing a chatterbait and you feel the blade stop to vibrate, give that thing a little rip like this until it starts vibrating again. A lot of times the fish will strike after that. Obviously, if you're getting weeds on every cast and you can see weeds everywhere, like there's an extent to it. But if you feel yourself getting some weeds, if you can just pop the worm off of the weeds, that'll trigger a fish to bite. When you're rigging a wacky worm, you're going to take the center of your worm and you are going to take the hook and stick it through. Center that thing up and that's it. You have a wacky rig Senko. I could go tie this onto my line right now and go catch a bass. That is how simple this is. You cast this thing out there, you let this thing fall, and it's just gonna just wiggle its way down. And then every so often, you're gonna give it a little twitch and it's gonna flutter up. You can see all this action, right? It's gonna flutter up and flutter down and flutter up and flutter down. And then eventually your line is gonna pop, your line is gonna start to move, and all you're gonna do is reel. And then all of a sudden you've caught a fish. So that's how it all works. Now, this next piece is optional, but highly, 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 highly recommended. It is going to save you money, and it is going to for sure save you time. I can't remember the name of it right now, But this is what this thing looks like. It has a couple of little secret compartments. Secret box.
Well, didn't I tell you? Isn't it great?
Boy, when you're right, you're right. That's some secret box you got there.
And what is inside of there, mine's empty because I've gone through them, so I've had to buy more, are these VMC crossover rings. Boom, that's the name. This is the crossover tool. I remember now because it says it here. The crossover ring, the crossover tool, where it comes into play. You catch a fish, you have a fish, the fish jumps out of the water, it's all aggressive, it's flying around. This hook is going to rip out of this worm, and your worm is going to be ripped in half and gone forever. How it works is you take the ring, you put it on there, I don't know if you can see, and then you squeeze this and it opens it up. You see that? You take your worm, it's kind of got this like channel that you can actually thread it through, thread it in, and you're going to thread it right straight through like this, get it about halfway, and then you are going to peel it off, and then you open the tool back up. You're done with the tool, but now you have the crossover ring on there. So now what this crossover ring does is you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but there is little holes on there, and you are able to take your hook and go right through the hole, just like that. And now you have the same setup, but you've got more hook exposure, so you have a better chance of, hooking up. I would say without the crossover ring, you're still probably gonna hook up. I'm not gonna try and sell you on that this is gonna, triple your hook sets or something ridiculous. You're still gonna get hook sets, but the biggest thing is now this ring is harnessing, it's holding, it's cradling, it's just keeping your little worm protected. So that way, when a fish bites, this ring is, you're more likely to have the worm slide like this. Now the hook is in the fish's mouth like that. It's not gonna rip, it's not gonna tear, it's not gonna go flying off. I shouldn't say it's not ever going to, because it's going to happen. It's eventually your worm's gonna eventually wear down. You're not gonna be able to catch a million fish on one worm, but you are going to be able to catch more than just 1 or 2 fish per worm. Buy the crossover tool and the rings that it comes with, good enough. You're on your way. The other part of the crossover tool, like I was saying, the versatility in these hooks, there's versatility in the rings too, but we are going to be able to thread this hook right through the worm at a different angle, so it has another way to rig it. We'll use this later this summer, so again, that's the versatility of the crossover ring. I think it pays for itself, in my opinion, on just a one fishing trip. You might go through, if the bass are eating wacky worms, you might go through an entire bag of worms on one fishing trip without the crossover tool. So it's gonna save you a lot of time and money. For sure money. I've gone through packs of worms before. As far as color goes, same kind of rules apply. I find myself going with more natural colors. I have had luck on baby bass too. I've caught some. Rarely am I throwing like this color, this pink, but that's just personal preference. As I said earlier with the chatterbait, follow your gut, follow your confidence. If you see a wacky color up there and you feel it in your soul that that's the one, pick that lure up and throw it with confidence, and just believe in it until you don't. And then once you stop, switch it up. As I said earlier, I just want you to be able to go into the store, buy a couple of packs of worms, buy a crossover tool, buy a pack of hooks, and go out and catch bass. So that's the rundown on the 2 techniques that I think will catch you bass year-round, especially here coming up in the spring. These 2 techniques are killer. Throw them with confidence. Pick out some colors that you absolutely feel are the juice, whatever you feel in your soul. The most important thing, have confidence while you're doing this. I cannot stress that enough. You're going to hear me talk about it all summer long. If you don't believe in what you're doing, then don't do it. Do something different. Switch it up. And you'll see me this summer fishing, and I'm going to be changing lures all the time. If I'm not feeling it, then I'm not throwing it. So, yeah. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not throwing it. I hope I was able to give you some insight. I wanted this video to be short. I have no idea how long it is. I just love talking about this stuff, and if I can, you know, instill some confidence in somebody to go out and catch bass, that's the whole point of this. So remember, be grateful, be patient, be kind. You never know what someone's going through. And this is a big honker of a lure. And now this is if you don't have, like, you know, a bunch of money to go spend on a bunch of fishing. You know, ideally, sure, go buy one of everything, whatever. But we don't have endless money. We're getting into bass fishing in this series. So these things are stretchy. Fish are not nearly as smart as we think they are, but they're a lot smarter than we think they are. So do with that with what you will. But some days I'm out there smarter than them, and some days I'm dumb.
Yeah, I woke up feeling grateful, thankful, everything that I prayed for came so. I be feeling so grateful, got me feeling so grateful. Yeah, I woke up feeling grateful, thankful, everything that I prayed for came so. I be feeling so grateful, got me feeling so grateful.